Hi there, everyone. Thank you for joining our investor education today. I'm Kat Delgadillo here to co-host our event with our CEO, Hall Martin. Hall.
Thanks, Kat. I want to thank everybody for joining us today for another great presentation from our companies here at 10 Capital. We'll also have a session with about term sheets for education purposes as well. And throughout the day, we'll give you updates about what we're doing here in the market these days and looking forward to your feedback as well. So for those who are not familiar, 10 Capital, we help startups and investors connect for funding. We run an investor relations program where people are coming together through mostly events, online, in person, dinner events, and otherwise to connect with startups and investors. Let's go to the next slide. So at heart, we're taking growth companies that need more investors and we're putting them in front of other groups. These are angel groups, VC funds, high net worth individuals, and family offices, all accredited investors. And we're having them pitch and we're going through the process of coaching a fundraise strategy and help how to engage with the investor. One of the keys about startup funding is that you must build a relationship with the investor. And so you need to have several contacts and interaction points in order to do that. And that's what our program is designed to do. So at heart, we're doing the legwork, saving you time and money. Later, let's go to the next slide. This is our investor education session. The other events we have are on the screen there. One is the Family Office Roundtable. It's the third Tuesday of each month. These are topics relevant to family offices and what they are interested in. Also, we have the virtual quick pitch. This is for tech companies. They are pitching to a panel of investors and the investors in the audience. And it's mostly for AI-enabled companies these days. And last is Life Science Syndicate. This is for our life science companies, anything on the FDA path. We have medical device, therapeutics, and diagnostics. And so we run this every month as well. If you'd like to learn more about our events, go to 10capital.group and click on the events button. And you can see what is coming up, and perhaps you can join us there. If you are a startup and you're looking to raise funding and want to be on the panel where these guys are today, please take a picture of that QR code and fill out the form. Send it to us and we'll have a discussion to see if this is a good fit to work together for you to come into our program. If we go to the next slide. So we also have a chatbot. We're doing a lot of work in the AI space. We'll talk more about that later today. But one of the things we do is we run the Startup Funding Espresso. It's a micro blog post of 300 words. It takes about 1 minute to listen to it. The time it takes to drink an espresso, you can learn something about startup funding and investing. Let's learn more about how we call it AVA. Let's learn more about how AVA works.
Are you looking to transform your investment strategy with new cutting-edge AI? Let me introduce our newest addition to the 10 Capital team, Ava, your personal AI venture assistant.
Hi there. I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Ava, your personal AI venture assistant. I'm your new best friend in the world of investing in startups, the 10 Capital AI chatbot. I'm here to make your journey through the startup ecosystem easier, faster, and a lot more fun. Need help finding your next big investment? Or maybe you're a founder looking for fundraising tips? I've got you covered. I pull all my knowledge from over 500 blogs, countless podcasts, and even some nifty calculators, like the How Fundable Is Your Startup tool, to give you the answers you need. So how do I work? Easy. You simply go to where I live on startupfundingespresso.com and look for me in the bottom right. As soon as I appear, go ahead and click on me to let me know you're here. And then there you go. All your questions answered at your fingertips. Whether you're into health tech, biotech, life sciences, or any of the other exciting fields out there, I'm equipped to help you navigate the trends, challenges, and opportunities in each one. Got a question? Just ask. And guess what? I even pull insights from the 10 Capital Network podcast on Investor Connect. It's packed with expert advice, success stories, and more, all designed to help you succeed in the venture capital world. So what are you waiting for? Let's chat. I'm here 24/7 to help you find the right answers, connect with great opportunities, and make the most out of your investments. See you on startupfundingespresso.com.
Great. Someone requested we play the QR code again. There it is. If you can take a picture of that, we'll leave that up for a few moments. We will have investors on the panel today, and let's introduce our first investor while this is still playing. It is Vadim Balashov of Viaduct Ventures. Vadim, can you tell us more about yourself and what your fund does?
I am a California Series A VC with a focus on artificial intelligence for business, B2B AI. Our average check size is $500,000 in Series A, or right before notes convertible into Series A, right before Series A. I am based in Vienna, Austria, with a lot of flying to the United States. My partner is based in Menlo Park, California.
Great. Thanks for that. We also have with us Nola Masterson at Portfolio. Nola, thanks for joining us today. Can you tell us more about your fund?
Thanks a lot for inviting me, Hal. I appreciate being here. Our fund is a venture capital fund for women. We have about 90% women investors at over 2,000. And we have 14 funds, and we have a direct investment vehicle also to go directly into some of the companies that we've already invested in. So we put $70 million into work in areas of underrepresented founders, as well as areas of women's health and active aging and longevity, but we also have a lot of food and ag tech and green and sustainability investments.
Great. Thanks for joining us today, Nola. So for those who are not familiar with our program, each company gets 10 minutes to pitch and 5 minutes of Q&A. After that, we'll hear from our two panelists there. If you in the audience have questions, please put them in the chat box. We'll read them out and we'll go through there. At the end of the session today, we'll have breakout rooms where you can go in and talk to any of these individuals as well. And then we'll have a session on term sheets, just a short one, as well as some information about what 10 Capital is doing in the area of investing and AI work. With that, let's bring up our first presenter, Nathan Monti of Enamel Pure. Nathan, go ahead and share your slides and kick off when you're ready.
Hey everyone, thanks for taking the time to listen to me today. Nathan Monti, co-founder and CEO of Enamel Pure. Enamel Pure is revolutionizing the preventive dentistry market, which is your hygienist. We're using a laser and imaging technology to change the clinical procedures as well as introduce diagnostic AI technology to preventive dentistry. Surprisingly, 160 million Americans get their teeth cleaned, fluoride treatments or whitening every year, for a total of $16 billion spent yearly. And there's another $6 billion spent on clear aligners in America. Everybody, there's a quick slide here. Everybody knows about teeth cleanings and everything, rinsing, bleeding, painful. And the diagnostics in preventive dentistry, they just look at your teeth, whatever they see, depending on the practitioner. There's no computerization or AI involved in any of the diagnostics in dentistry. So our proposed device that we've built 5 of is a laser housed with a camera. The laser is used to clean your teeth. The hygienist waves the handpiece over your teeth to remove all the plaque. The laser is also used to harden your teeth, to replace the fluoride, the interoffice fluoride varnishes. And there's a whitening mouth guard that goes in after the procedures are done, and the patient drives home with the mouth guard in their mouth and throws it away when they get home. There's also attached to the last knuckle on our beam delivery a camera. The laser bounces off the front of the mirror. The camera looks through the mirror, like in the top right-hand corner. So both the camera and the laser come out the handpiece at the same place, collinear. So as the hygienist cleans your teeth, we do a 3D image scan of your teeth and gums when you're all done. I'll explain that later. The device costs about $35,000. With accessories, it could be $37,000 or $38,000 to give you a feel for the price range of the device. Laser cleaning, it's faster, quieter, non-contact. It removes all the plaque, and it also kills the bacteria. None of the existing technologies or techniques kill any bacteria. Bacteria leads to gingivitis. The laser purification, it replaces fluorides 10 times harder. It's a complete coating over your teeth, and it's fabulous technology. And then the whitening is just a low-cost solution. The mouth guard is in the mouth while the patient drives home to make it simple and convenient. The AI side, the digital scan that we do, it's 2D and 3D, it's color, and it can be converted to a measurement file called an SDL file to define clear aligners. So how it works is every time you go in to have your teeth cleaned in the future, you'll have an AI scan. So it's the most robust image data set ever in dentistry. Dentistry is ideal for AI because all the treatments are judged on how your teeth and gums look. So things like nobody has any idea what average gum recession is. Nobody has any idea what average enamel loss is. So by having a large volume of scans, you're able to start to define these diagnostics and do predictive diagnostics as people come back over time. After a year, you've had 2, after 2 years, you've had 4, and then the AI can tell you if your gums are receding too fast, your enamel's lost too fast, you have a cracked tooth, whatever it is. There's a list of about 14 different diagnoses that can happen, and it can happen very early in life, so you can avoid the difficulties later in life. So the product roadmap is, last year we finished the dental treatments with the laser. This year we're doing the camera and the AI. And next year we're implementing that. And then in 2027 and 2028, we'll reconcile our dental data set with medical records to see if we can get a link between, cavities or enamel erosion and heart valve problems or whatever it might be. Dentistry is old school, so the go-to-market strategy is straightforward. We use 3 distributors. We've already signed them up. It's Henry Schein, which is the largest distributor in the world, Benco, which is privately owned. It's the 3rd largest in America. And Medicend, they're a influencer type TikTok and Instagram distributor and innovator. So we attack the children's dentists, the pediatrics, as well as the high-tech dentists. We keep the sales and service in-house, but the direct sales and service is done by the distributor. And then we have a contract manufacturer that manufactures the product and ships it directly to the dental office. So the next couple slides go fairly quickly, but just to give you a feel of what we do and how we fit in. So we make the device and we make the camera. We do the mapping, we do the digital 3D image arch for all 4 arches in your mouth. We do regulatory in-house and IP, but everything else we partner with the dental industry to make our entry into the market much more seamless. So the sales are done by distributors, the AI software is done by AI software companies, clear aligner manufacturers done by existing manufacturers like Invisalign. And the way our system works in the office is we just have a Wi-Fi connection to the practice management system. The practice management system informs us if there's a new patient. We get the number from the practice management system for that patient. Once the patient's teeth are cleaned and hardened, we attach that number to the scan and we upload it to the practice management system. So we have no HIPAA requirements. We never know who the patient is. The practice management system has all the HIPAA requirements. It handles the interaction with the dentist, and it also handles the interaction with the AI processing, which is usually cloud-based. The reason for doing that, again, is just so we fit seamlessly into the dental office as well as the industry, so there's no hiccups in our product introduction. Product Resources in Newburyport, Mass. is making the laser systems for us. We have no competition, only the existing mechanical tools. My business partner is a patent lawyer. We have 23 patents filed, 6 more in work, and we have 5 issued. So we make money by selling Loon laser systems. We make money by charging $2 for every cleaning. There's 160 million cleanings in America every year. We make money by charging a couple dollars for every purification. That's the hardening of the enamel. There's somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 million fluoride treatments a year that we'll overtake, and then the whitening mouth guard. We also, once the camera is implemented, we license the imaging and the measurement files to the AI as well as the clear aligner manufacturers, and we charge for that. So I'm on the left, Nathan Monti, nice to meet you. I founded a company called Light Laser. We sold that to Danaher Corporation. I founded a company called Convergent Dental, which is a dental laser for drilling cavities. That's in Waltham, Mass. They're at 25 million Hopefully we'll have an exit next year, maybe the year after. And Chuck Dresser is my business partner, again, patent lawyer, as well as an expert in laser medical devices, as well as imaging. He's done a few of these systems before for other industries like skin resurfacing. I'll skip this over. It's, excuse me, 23 patents filed. It says 4 allowed, but there's actually 1 more allowed last week. So we had FDA clearance in March of last year. We set up the international supply chain network over the summer. We did our first pilot manufacturing 2 weeks ago at Product Resources. And we did our first clinical cleaning in the office last Friday. And we hope to have sales in April of this year. So what we're asking for is a supersede. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. We have $150,000 left in that out of 1.5 million. And then in April, we are starting our Series A, which is an $8 million raise at a 32 million pre. That's after revenue has started. That's why the pre-money valuation goes up. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll take any questions that you have.
Great presentation, Nathan. If you have questions in the audience, please put it in the Q&A box or the chat box. Let's go to our panel. Let's go to Nola first. Nola, what's your first question for Nathan?
Nathan, congratulations on this achievement. I think the dental market is always open to advances in dentistry. But I like the product that you're doing. I can't get my arms around from the short presentation how you're going to get it into the dentist office. You're using distributors to sell it?
Correct. That's correct.
And-
So oh, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So dentistry's old school, about 95%, 95% of all dental offices. There's 200,000 in America, about 205, 210,000 hygienists. They all buy from 3 distributors in America. We've signed up 2, the largest and the 3rd largest, and that's how we get into the dental offices. We also signed up, like I said, Medicine Partners. They're an influencer social network, TikTok, Instagrams. Where it's actually quite popular in dentistry. Dentistry is about half called traditional and half called progressive. The traditional tends to be the older dentists. The progressive is women and minorities. Almost half of the dentists in America now are women. Women dominate the dental schools. By 2030, women will be the majority by far of the dentists in America. And with that change in demographics, the whole approach to dentistry changes, and the Instagram and TikTok stuff starting to work, and as well as the progressive side buys a lot more equipment to integrate into their offices for patient care.
And you have a way for selling it so it's not a $35,000 check that they have to write?
Oh, yeah. So most all dental offices have a dental office loan. They all pay a fee per month. So Bank of America dominates those loans. So they just put it on their lease, their existing lease for their equipment, for the chairs or their office or office renovations or whatever, Nola. But we can provide a lease agent if necessary. But a lot of dental offices, 35K, they do just write a check.
Great, thanks, Nola. Vadim, what's your first question?
You mentioned monetization through charging for each whitening. Have you thought about just a SaaS model, just per device per month or per device per year, and which one would be an easier sell? Which one will lead to better scaling?
We've tried to fit in with the existing model in dentistry, which is capital equipment purchase on a lease, as mentioned in Nola, and then we charge per procedure. For the cleaning, it's a couple dollars. For the hardening, it might be $2 to $5. And then the whitening, we put a mouth guard in their mouth, and we charge for the mouth guard. So that's the traditional approach in dentistry. We could try a SaaS model, but again, that would be something very new to dentistry. Dentistry is still a little bit old school. So we haven't really approached it that way. We might change as we go, but we're pretty much trying to make the device seamless going into the dental market.
Thank you.
My question, Nathan, is what's the exit strategy here? What do you see as the end game?
So the dental industry, there's very little R&D for, for the big companies in dentistry. They always buy small startups that have, a lot of R&D involved and have FDA approval. And then someone like Henry Schein or Dentsply, Ivoclar. So basically they take the product and the company international. So they're looking to see that we have established the product as the standard of care, and then the M&A, it's typically a cash buyout. Henry Schein did a cash buyout last year for a French company for over $600 million. So there's a lot of money in dentistry. So it's a big market. Hygiene, 16 billion just for the cleanings, fairly recession proof. So a lot of the players are looking for growth, and they do their growth through acquisition, Hall, and they're looking for dependable recurring revenue. And that's why we have the charge per procedure as well as the charge for the scans.
Can you talk about your experience with exits in previous companies?
Yeah, sure. So we exited my first company, which was Light Laser. That was a laser system. I'm a laser guy. A laser system for marking Coke bottles and water bottles instead of ink. We built up the system, miniaturized it, made it smaller, and pioneered the application. And then Videojet Technologies out of Chicago bought us. They're part of Danner Corporation. And then I started Convergent Dental using the laser to drill cavities. The reason I pivoted to dentistry is simply because there's very limited technology in dentistry, as Nola mentioned. And so you just don't get any competition. We have no direct competition. And then that went fairly well. Convergent Dental is at 25 million and looking to exit next year, the year after. So it's a pretty straightforward formula. I know how to get to all the players. I know the industry, so it's just very comfortable for me to start enamel cure on the hygiene side. On the preventive side, the dentist offices are usually restorative with the dentist, which is where my other product was, and then it's preventive in diagnostic with the hygienist.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Nathan. Great presentation. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to our next presenter. We'll let
Thanks,
Mike.
guys.
Thanks so much, Nathan. Great presentation.
So sorry, I do have to jump, guys. I can't stay for the breakout rooms. I got a call. I got a flight to Austin, so I apologize greatly. I'd love to stay for the breakout room. Thank you very much. They put me first just because of my flight.
That's great. Well, we'll see you here in Austin tomorrow. Thanks so much.
Okay,
For those in the
good.
audience, we do have an in-person event in Austin tomorrow. We'll be doing this all day at the Oracle facility, and we also will be on our way out to Dallas, Bay Area, LA, New York, and DC for the first half of this year, and we'll repeat that again the second half. So we do have in-person events. If you're in any of those cities, we'd love to have you come out and join us for those as well. As we, Mike, go ahead, and launch your slides and kick off when you're ready.
All right. You're talking about Simple Labs second, right?
What's that?
Simple Labs is going to be second, not third. Is that correct?
That's right. You're second. Yeah.
Got it. Can everybody see this?
We see it. Just put in presentation mode.
There we go.
And you're good.
All right. So hi, everybody. Thanks for your time. I am Mike Sloan. I'm the founder and CEO of Simple Labs. We make a device called Cogni that is in the wine and spirit space. Before I get into some of the needs for Cogni in the market, I want to talk a little bit about myself. I grew up in bourbon country. I knew a lot about distilleries and distilling as a result of that. I lived right outside of Louisville, Kentucky. If you flash forward, I moved to wine country and I've met a lot of winemakers and wineries out here where we're situated right now. And there's a couple of things that you notice about these guys is that one is they're very passionate about making great products. This is a love. It's not just a job. And the other is that they face a lot of serious and daunting challenges in the industry, and something's badly needed to improve on the process that they're using. I want to talk about a few of those main challenges very briefly. In bourbon and whiskey, especially, angel share is a big problem. It costs them over 14 billion a year. It's a normal process to have evaporation. Angel share is the normal amount that'll evaporate out of a barrel over the course of 2 to 4 years. But when it's excessive and half the barrel's gone, it's a lot of product loss. And they're having a hard time struggling with, especially in the medium and their premium products, what to do. I'll get into a little bit later here about a little more in depth on that one. But spoilage is another one in the wine industry. You get losses annually of about 7.6 billion to this. 1% of all wine barrels go bad. And it's only because they don't have enough labor. They don't have enough budget for sufficient quality testing. And so they lose barrels. And every time they lose a barrel here in Napa Valley, it's over $22,500 on average lost, just in the product. 300 bottles of wine in one barrel. They spend tens of millions of dollars on these quality issues, and they're losing on a lot of fronts. There's a lot more challenges than just these, of course, but in general, a better solution that involves continuous barrel monitoring is needed. And that's where it comes in. I'll talk a little bit about this bourbon business case, for instance, because they don't track real-time parameters, their vital parameters. They're often mischoosing their mid and their premium product barrels, resulting in billions lost a year, like I'd mentioned. How does this happen? If you look at their current method, every day a big facility is putting at least 1,000 barrels in every single day of the year. They put them into the rick houses, they let them age 2 to 4 years. And at the end of a 2 to 4 year period, they don't know what's inside each of these barrels, so they will randomly drill into a small number of barrels, check them for their color, their flavor, and with alcohol content. And as long as they meet their standards for their recipe, those become their premium barrels. The problem is, again, because they don't know what's inside, they're frequently misselecting what their high-end barrels should be. With our method, it's the same idea. You put the 1,000 or more in a day, but for every barrel it's covered with our devices, with Cogni, what Cogni does is it's tracking all those vital parameters. And you can see in the middle, like, of course, a barrel will start normal and full the first time it's in the first couple of days it's in the rick house. But over time, over that 2 to 4 year period, as you can see to the right, things are very different for every single barrel. And it has its own characteristics, its own wood, its own situation. These rick houses can be 7 stories tall, 70,000 barrels in one building. And so what we let them do, though, by tracking all that, is say, hey, these are your candidates for your best stuff, your premium stuff, like some of these that are more full here. And then there's other ones that are going to be your mid-level things, the mid-level products. And then there's other ones where you might as well just start using that for your normal sort of run-of-the-mill products that you sell every day. Because of that, we're able to get them essentially optimize their premium productivity, their premium revenue. It's over 300% ROI compared to what they're doing now. It's a massive amount of ROI for them. And we've had several very large scale master distillers tell us they badly need this right now, both on the production side and on the company side, as far as their bottom line costs. So Cogni is what I've invented. It is a device of sorts, but it's not just a device. It's a platform that's using a lot of ML and AI behind it to power some insights, some alerts, some across any number of locations, doesn't matter. You can deploy as many of these devices as you want globally. And the data you get is a big deal because they've never had this kind of historical and comparative data over time. And it allows for grouping of measurements. It allows for a lot of the statistical information that is an incredibly valuable revenue stream in itself over time. So it's real-time visibility into this process. We have some very healthy immediate addressable markets. This year, we're launching in bourbon. That's nearly 4 billion in TAM for us. Later this year, we're launching in wine in California. That is nearly 1 billion in TAM as well. And you notice that these little blue areas you see are 1 or 2 counties where we don't have to service a very large geographic area. When we have a ground presence, for instance, in Kentucky, it's really just a couple of counties to service. Or here in Napa Valley, it's Napa and Sonoma County predominantly. It's a very small area to have to service. And then, of course, you see over to the right, we have nearly 6 billion in TAM there when we get over to EU wine. But that's not the whole story. You talk about platform extensibility. This can be applied to any spirit. So it's a $1.6 trillion global market value. We have been contacted by a number of conglomerates already. They want to know when we're going to be on the market. We are a very likely acquisition target for them because we're the only solution that can be applied to every single brand in their portfolio, whether it's a wine or a spirit. And this is likely our exit strategy, is that a conglomerate simply just acquires us. We have a number of patents. We just had another one filed, provisional one filed this week. This is continually growing based on engineering's findings and new sort of novel ways that we're coming up with to expand the functionality of this device and the platform itself. We have no direct competition. There are people out there doing one or two things in either the wine space or one or two things in the bourbon space, but no one can do what we're doing across the board for the cost that we do it for. Net margins are healthy, 80% software, 30% hardware. We're looking at a 5 million ARR this year, scaling to about 29 million by a year for 2027. Our traction, we have a lot of traction right now. We're going to be signing Heaven Hill and Jim Beam. That's nearly 4.9 million barrels just with those two alone. We're also signing potentially Uncle Nearest down in Tennessee. We're doing a collaborative study with the Beam Institute, which is the leading academic center for American bourbon. The Beam conference in March, we're presenting findings. We're going to have a very large presence there. And why are we so confident about this? Well, we've already ran betas and we've already ran tests on this device, actually both in wine and bourbon. And it's been functioning really well for now over a year in all these situations. So we have a very confident, we feel confident these guys are going to convert to long-term partners for sure. The ask that we're in the middle of is a $10 million Series A to accelerate growth. We've had 3 different seed rounds, safe-based rounds. We've oversubscribed every single one of those. And I put in $820,000 of my own money in the latest safe round. Excellent team, a lot of experts in wine and spirits in here, a lot of people who have done startups and Internet of Things type scaling of businesses, business operations and business strategy. Over on the right, we have an excellent list of advisors on the wine and the bourbon side who know not just the production side of this and making great products, but also understand the chemistry and the science behind those products. And with that, I finished a little early, so I'll be glad to take any questions.
Great presentation, Mike. Vadim, what's your first question?
What is the nature of the device? How does it the physical form, and what does it do?
Yeah, so let me go back to the first slide. You can see it here. It's a good question. The device looks like this when it's fitted into a wine situation. It goes right into the barrel. It uses the same food grade materials that they use in winemaking right now. And then you can see over here with the bourbon one, it is actually put into the barrel right after the barrel is filled. With bourbon, it has to stay in there. So it's actually fitted with threads and a rubber O-ring, and it's airtight, watertight. And then you can see these batteries go on afterwards that are magnetic pogo pin type batteries that last multiple years. So that's the hardware side of it. And then, of course, like I mentioned, there's a pretty robust platform that's behind all of this, driving everything.
Nola, what's your first question?
A good description of how it works. Can you give me a little bit more color on the software and where does that sit inside of a winery or a distillery?
Yeah, let me move to, let me try to get to my, appendix real quick because I've got some good slides for that back here. So the platform itself, if you're looking at that, the platform allows for them to have, obviously it's a secure environment. People will have different types of profiles and permissions based on their role in the rick house or in the distillery. And then once they log in, they'll be able to see all of their locations just across the planet, really, or in a geographic area that they're predominantly involved in. From that, they can drill down from lot level lists, which are groups of barrels, down to even just a single device like this is showing for bourbon. And they're able to track and see anything that's within line. And if it's a normal, just nothing's going wrong, they're not going to get any alerts, of course, but they will get insights as to how the group is performing over time. But this platform sits in an AWS cloud environment. It's completely secure. At the same time, they can pull data when they want to for their data science teams from it. They can use it how they see fit. And then, of course, once we have the data on the higher level stuff, we'll anonymize that, aggregate that, and be able to present larger scale findings to everyone obviously without being able to recognize them individually.
I can see where this is good for an overview, but does it give you an alert if something's going wrong with your barrel? Or
absolutely. Yes. So it's different for wine and spirits, but for instance, in wine, the winemaker can set tolerance ranges for pH or for acetic acid or for whatever parameter they feel they want to have a certain like SO2 as well. That they'll say, hey, if it's crossing this threshold, send me an alert. Or if it's about to cross a threshold or has a sudden delta over a few days, it'll know to send them an alert, send their cellar crew an alert that that barrel should be looked at. The same with bourbon, but what the alerts in a bourbon are more around, hey, these barrels are performing better than others, because with bourbon, they're not able to necessarily mitigate anything in bourbon, but the bourbon goal is to tell them exactly which barrels are performing the best or which barrels are performing at a sort of normal rate. And send them those insights over time. So with bourbon, it's more of an awareness of what's going on and trending over time. With wine, it's much more week to week, where they're getting parameters and getting insights much more frequently to that. But again, they're able to set this up the way they make their stuff, particular to their brand, and what they look for instance, in color or whatever it is. So they can personalize it exactly to what their facility, what their needs are as a distiller or a winemaker.
how much does it cost?
So it's cheap, actually. The beginning cost for these first people coming in is $50 a year, hardware and software included. So that's the first price. That's going to be for the first year. And then, of course, that's going to rise as we get the data offerings, as we get more insights. We also will have multi-year contracts. For bourbon, it's a 4-year contract. For wine, it's likely going to be a 1.5 to 2-year contract, but depending on what the kind of wine they're making. But for bourbon, it's definitely going to be a starting price of $50 per device per year. So in other words, over 4 years, it's $200. So if we save them even just a few bottles on average between those barrels that are covered, that's why we're getting that over 300% ROI over time.
Right. And you are selling this direct now yourself?
Correct.
Are you going to use, how's it going out to the customer?
So we're in the middle of our beta testing with customers. So we are building our trial devices to have our final testing for them. Once we get their blessing, then they become customers and they're ordering, somewhere between 70,000 to, we're going to cap it at about 100,000 max devices the first year. So we're able to give everybody a great customer experience the first year. But we are selling direct. We are going to have a ground presence, for instance, in Kentucky, a small scale facility that will house and have the inventory and have a tech team, guys in a van and things like that. But it's a direct sale. It's B2B sale, but it's a direct sale.
And is the product reusable if the barrel goes bad, or if you're, you empty the barrel because you bottled it, can you reuse that device?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a lot of since it's a SaaS-based model, and we still own the hardware. We'll bring in those devices after X number of years, refurbish them, check the electronics inside, and then it's literally a canister that gets pulled out of the tube part of the device, and then we're able to send it right back out into the field, because the steel itself is going to last a very long time. So, you know, we'll get at least a decade out of that. So yeah, I mean, the margins obviously first year are much smaller, but then they grow substantially over time, especially because of that reusage.
That's a really important part.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Mike. Great questions, Noah, Vadim. Let's move on to our next presenter. We have with us today Barry Fella of Cranial Devices. Barry, if you could launch your slides and kick off when you're ready. You turn on your video, Barry?
Okay, all set at your end?
We're ready to go. Go ahead.
Okay, great. All right, so I got really thirsty after that last presentation, so this is do that. So medical devices, in particular, we're going after fixing a pretty good sized problem in the medical world for treatment of hydrocephalus, which is, you don't know what it is. It's too much water in the brain, and how it's treated is you stick a rubber tube literally down the middle of your brain and drain it down into your abdomen. The problem with that is the failure rate is incredibly high. First year alone, 40% of the patients who get one of these things will have to have a re-intervention, re-operation within the first year. The cost associated with that alone is $1 billion. The overall cost to the health system is about $3 billion annually. The problem with these things is that they fail. They get infected, they clog, and if they siphon, they can literally pull too much water out of the brain and kill you. It's a lifetime disease, and patients can survive their whole life, a normal life period with these things, but you're going to have, on average, 10 revisions in your lifetime. Some people have had well over 30. All right, so what we're doing is totally different. We're doing something called physiologic shunting. So we are taking that same excess water, the CSF, and we're draining it into part of the venous system. And we do that all right there on the cranium. So we don't have any of the problems associated with the longer rubber tube elements. It's about a 15 to 30 minute procedure to do this. So right now, the current market for hydrocephalus shunts in the US is about 170 million a year, doing about 100,000 surgeries per year, of which 70,000 of those are revision surgeries. So worldwide, it's about a $500 million market. If a more reliable device is invented or brought to market, it will immediately capture 100% of that revision market. That's, again, these failure rates are so high that they're just unacceptable, and that's the way it's been for 50 or 60 years. The device will be what they call a Class 2 de novo. That's the guidance that we already have from the FDA. IP is well in place, and it's got a worldwide application for all forms of hydrocephalus. You don't need a specialized skill set other than being a neurosurgeon. You don't need to have navigation robotics. It's nice, but not needed. It's very easy training how to do it. As I said, about a 30-minute procedure time, and you have multiple locations on the cranium where you can place it. We have one competitor out there. They're doing what's called an endovascular technique. Ours is a surgical technique. Ours is basically just faster, better, safer, cheaper. That makes it easy, and you don't need specialized training to do it. They've raised about $124 million for their effort. We have raised $2.5 million to date. We are looking to raise another $2.5 million via convertible note to complete our task for 2025. That sets us up to do our first human pilot. We are well into our animal pilot studies now, and we'll do what they call a GLP study a little later on in the year. So as I said earlier, it just got downright better performance than what's called a ventricular peritoneal shunt, or brain to the stomach. And it's just far safer. It's no bridges burned kind of an implant. If it doesn't work, you take it out, put another one in easily through a skin incision. So it's fast to implant. We can do it under local anesthesia. Low cost of goods, no special instruments. And as I said earlier, it will immediately capture that revision market because it eliminates all of the failure points that I mentioned earlier. And everybody in the user universe here will benefit: patients, surgeons, hospitals, and payers. And that's it. I can go into some other market opportunities, but let's find out first, I think, if you have an interest in this.
Great. Thanks, Barry, for a great presentation. Nola, what's your first question?
Hydrocephalus is usually found at the beginning of life. Is that true?
Now,
No, it can happen at any time.
yes, it happens. It can happen spontaneously. It can happen because of trauma, because of surgery, infection, meningitis can cause it. Infants, yes, they probably in the U.S. probably are 15,000 of those 30,000 primary implants in the year.
Do you need anything to be guided using ultrasound or anything in order to do your insertion? It's pretty simple, huh? You don't.
Simple. It's just anatomical landmarks. You have suture lines, the same sutures you had when you were a baby. They get fixed when you get to be about 5 or 6 years old, and that's all the navigation that you need.
And how are you going to sell this cranial device?
It would go through medical device distributors. We're going to get bought out. I mean, Medtronic and Integra currently own 92% of the market. They sell $5,000 valves that continually fail. There is no need for a valve with our system. So if they want to stay active in the hydrocephalus market, then they're going to want to take this.
Gotcha. And how does it need FDA approval?
Yes. Oh yeah. But it's
Where are
class
you at?
2. It's not class 2 is 510K. It's not a PMA, which could be 7 to 10 years. We will be through the FDA probably no later than 2028.
Okay, and you're gonna go the 510K route?
Yes, it's 510K, but when you do a de novo 510K, you have to do a certain amount of animal studies and human pilot studies. So it's like a PMA, but with a much shorter timeline and much shorter follow-up periods.
Have you had a pre-IND meeting or
And
anything?
we've had two of those.
Okay. And so you feel like you know what you need to do to get the data that you need?
Yeah, we're well down the path of getting the data that we need. The animal data that we're doing now sets us up to do what they call the IDE, investigational device exemption, that allows us to use it with humans. So that would be then for the human pilot studies. The human pilot studies, just because the FDA is historically very slow, we'll be doing those either down in South America or Australia. And the first human pilot studies is only going to be 5 humans. And with this device, you know within an hour whether it's working or not working for you.
Yeah.
And the total follow-up period is 3 months. So we have the pilot study will be very short compared to what's required for a PMA.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Nola. Vadim, what's your first question?
I don't know. The exit sounds like it's 2028 or 2029.
I don't know if it'll be that late. That's when, it's on its own kind of thing. The exit, the way it works in the medical device industry, 15 years ago, they bought technology. Now they want to buy sales or study data. That's what they want you to be. Once you've proved that you're safe, and again, the FDA, believe it or not, does not require that we have efficacy. I mean, it's probably hard to believe, but we will be. And our device is a very simple device. It has no moving parts, but it has a very solid IP portfolio around it. And probably the biggest thing, and again, I've been in medical devices for a long time, is there's a guaranteed market waiting right now today for these revision patients, because this is an awful life to have to continually have surgeries. They know they need revision. When their eyes start crossing, they get massive headaches. They can't walk straight anymore. And if you don't do something about it quickly, they die.
Yeah.
So a revision is not an optional thing. They have to be revised. And what we're hoping to do is stop that train.
How do clinicians view this new technology? Is it a change to their process? Does it require special training, or what's their
Nope.
view on it?
They use a burr, a surgical burr, which they use all the time in their normal practice. That's it. I mean, there's no special tools. It's not really special training. It's unique training, but it's not very challenging.
There's a question from the audience. Where is production going to be done?
In the U.S.
Okay. You've already found a certain supplier contractor for it? Okay.
Yeah, we in our animal studies, we are using human devices in the animals. So they meet all of the standards of sterility and other device tests.
Have all trials been in the animal model?
Yes, in the sheep model. That
The
is
sheep model?
the go-to model. It's not a great model compared to a human, but it is the gold standard for the last 40 or 50 years.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience here? Let's see.
Let me just, one other thing I'm going to throw back at you real quick is the other market opportunity is something called normal pressure hydrocephalus for people over 65. Currently in the US, we got about 700,000 patients diagnosed with NPH. Only 1% of those are getting shunts, even though shunts work. And the symptoms there are dementia, gait instability, and incontinence. And when you shunt those patients, those symptoms go away. So you have a form of dementia that is fixable. It is a huge market, and that's our competition is going after that market, where our decision is we'll let them develop the market and then we'll step into it.
Yeah, one more question from the audience. How was it hydrocephalitis created in sheep?
Well, they do it two ways. One is they inject a solution of kaolin, clay, and saline right into what's called the ventricle. And then that usually will kill the sheep within 24 hours if not treated. And sheep are fairly sensitive creatures that way. We actually use a harder model where we don't create the hydrocephalus with clay. We do it with a sheep that is normal pressures, normal intracranial pressures. And that's a very, 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 very low flow condition. And that is actually the most challenging for our device. We've done it both ways. It's an easy surgery.
Okay. Noah, do you have any other questions?
Well, I'm curious, you sound like you're looking at that shunting market for dementia and old people, which is going to be big. Are you going to do any work in that, or are you just going to go?
Oh yeah, no. It's the same exact device.
Yeah.
So the question there is, well, where's that market today? Because only 1% of all those diagnosed patients are getting shunted.
Right.
Well, the reason they don't get shunted is you don't want to put an implant in an 80-year-old. Only to have to do it again and again and again. And you don't want to do something that requires general anesthesia on an 80-year-old. So the fact that we can do this under local anesthetic, right? And it's just literally, it's just below your scalp. If something didn't work or needed to be fixed or whatever, you just slice it open, pop the implant out, put another one in. So it has great interest from all of the neurosurgeons that we've been working with. I mean, you know, it doesn't mean anything for them to say it, but they say, I do it tomorrow, because they look at it and say, they can see how it is not going to fail, because we've eliminated all the failure points of the current shunts.
Not only is it not going to fail, but it sounds like it might work better.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, I've been in the med device industry for a long time. In the orthopedic industry, you might have a 3% failure rate. We're talking 40, 50, 70%, depending on the patient group with shunts. And that's been going on since the late 50s.
Yeah.
Great. We have two more questions from the audience, and then we need to move on. How do you prevent clotting in the brain?
Drain.
Those are
A
kind of
drain. Yeah.
in the drain.
Drain.
Uh,
Yeah.
Ours is a constant flow device. So when you stop flow, that's when you can create or get clotting to occur from other cellular material that might be in the CSF. So our design is specifically designed to flow all the time, but it's self-regulating. It works on the CSF is always at a higher pressure than the venous system, so there's always a pressure differential. So as your intracranial pressure comes down, then the flow slows down.
Okay. And what has been the cause of early device failures?
Clogging and siphoning is the number one.
Siphoning. Okay.
If you can imagine, you got a water bed, you're on the 3rd floor, you're going to drain it, it'll drain really fast because that's siphoning, pulling it. You drain it from the 1st floor, it'll take hours. So every time you stand up with one of these old-fashioned rubber tubes, you're setting yourself up to siphon and then over drain the brain.
Okay. And one more question. Any offshore human use?
Not yet, no. That hopefully will be about December, January.
December, January? Okay, great. Oh, well, one more. Even in normal pressure hydrocephalus, is there no clotting?
You can always get clotting, but even if you do get clotting, you don't want to make it a major operation to revise it. Literally, it's like a 2-centimeter skin incision in 2 screws, and you just pop the implant out and put another one in.
Okay.
So
I think
it's all
that's it
done
for the
on- Yep.
I think that's it for the questions, but I'll offer certainly a great opportunity to come to the breakout rooms to ask more on that one. So Barry, if you can make the breakout rooms, that'd be great.
Okay.
We have one more presentation and then a presentation on terms. With that, let's go and move to our next presenter. We have with us Jason Seitz of Ticket Rewards. Jason, if you can launch your slides and kick off and ready.
All right, all set?
Yep, we see your slides. You're good to go.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's see. We started off with getting all cleaned up to go out, and then we had a drink, and then we had something on the brain, and so now let's go out and have some fun. All right, so we're going to talk about Ticket Rewards, live entertainment as a service. And who are we and what do we do? We are basically a ticketing company, or we have big relationships in live entertainment. And basically we work directly with presenters, promoters, sports teams, and venues directly, and have strategic inventory about $500 million worth of ticket that we get consigned. Because what we do is we actually work directly with brands, and we're the behind the scene partner of HBO Max or Celebrity Cruises, Hearst, and many others. And what we do is we actually give them access to tickets, whether it's a pre-sale, an incentive that we do, or a loyalty program that we do. And then the consumer actually gets a big benefit of getting access to these tickets, so they get a lot of loyalty back to the brands. And then the consumer will go to the events. I'm just doing this as quickly, but goes to the events, has a great time, and then they actually have an emotional connection back to the brand, whether it's HBO, Celebrity Cruises, San Francisco Chronicle, and I'll give you some case studies of how this has worked. And then their engagement and retention goes up, so it's a lower cost of acquisition, a lower cost of retention, and in the end, lower churn for the bunch of the companies that we're working with. So in the case study of like Celebrity Cruises, they're trying to keep people engaged in between their cruises. The #1 email that they send out to their Captain's Club members is the live entertainment emails that we send. They actually get 40% higher open rates and 20% higher click-through rates when they're giving these. So also, while we were building our business, because we are fully functioning ticketing company already, we ran into HBO Max, and who highlighted that churn is the killer of the business, and they're looking for ways to keep people on their platform. So we've done a 6-month pilot with HBO and with Max, and they are going to be moving forward with us with their loyalty program. So here's our big opportunity. It's very big in the sense that brands are looking for ways to keep people engaged and retained. The cost behind it is high. We actually have a low-cost solution for them. The live entertainment space is totally untapped, and then the live entertainment space is a bunch of small businesses that we know and we can put in one platform. Little tidbits to know about retention and growth. Just a 5% increase in retention can actually increase profits by 25 to 95%. The cost of acquisition is 5 to 7 times higher, more expensive than actually retaining consumers. And we do an incredible job of retaining the consumers they already have. And more loyal consumers spend 67% more on rather than new ones. So our solution has been a mobile-first, co-branded, white-labeled redemption platform for live entertainment. We have multiple ways to do it. We actually have about 4 different revenue streams that we actually actively are already doing. As I mentioned, we have about $500 million worth of consigned inventory from your likes of Andre Bocelli to New Kids on the Block. Whether you're Yankees or a Red Sox fan, we actually work with all of them. We also then have access to $1 billion plus of marketplace inventory with over 35,000 live events. It seamlessly integrates into programs. It's very easy based off of push notifications or emails. It drives engagement, retention, and brand loyalty. And then the best part is that we get feedback from all the brands that we work with, that consumers are saying thank you back to the brand. Thank you to Celebrity Cruises for getting me out to this event. This is a very big marketplace in the ticketing space. We know this space very well. We are passionate about live entertainment. But the interesting thing is the loyalty and reward space in itself is even larger. So we are working with enterprise brands, the Fortune 500 companies, and when we get them on a phone call, they're looking for ways to integrate us. Here's our current client base. These are brands that you know, United Mileage Plus, HBO Max, Celebrity Cruises, Hearst, many different programs that we do with the newspapers to keep their subscribers activated. We work in the vacation timeshare space, and then a bunch of companies that you're probably unaware of. We also have a marketplace of our own in which we're moving about $2 million worth of tickets already. We finished off the year so strong, we actually made a profit. Our active pipeline, which we need help because there's so many different companies out there, because we have industry agnostic for our approach. These are already companies that we're talking to, and good news is Vadim actually just came on board. Travelzoo's a company that has over 19 million subscribers in the United States. 1-800-Flowers is starting in 2 weeks. Go-To Foods, which is your Jamba Juice, Whataburger, they're all in negotiations right now to start by the beginning of July. And then we have a massive opportunity with Lyft that I believe we're having a phone call while I am on this phone right now about starting in March to be the provider of tickets for them and their 45 million transactions that they have a month. If we're able to help them change their share by 1%, it helps them get about $1 billion worth of value to their company. We have a bunch of other leads that we have, but to be honest, we're not touching enough companies right now, and that's why we're doing a raise, because we can reach out to the nonprofit world. Vadim just did that. They're working with a number of nonprofits that basically used our incentive tool to raise more funds for their nonprofit. Here's some customer success stories. Hearst Corporation, we started giving them deals in different marketplaces. It went so well because 50% of the people who were actively engaged in our product were people they thought were going to unsubscribe. So they went from just doing 1 email to now doing 4 emails a month with our products. And we have high variability of working with Broadway shows to concerts to your favorite sports teams. United Mileage Plus did a test in October of 2024, and now we are now the provider of their exclusive products for all of their live entertainment needs that are in 9 of their hub markets, and we're trying to convince them to do about 30 different markets. So what is live entertainment as a service? So we actually have created a product in which someone like HBO Max or a subscription service can get $25 of tickets every single month. It expires at the end of the month, so it comes up again, and they get another 25 the following month. It helps because now they have something to leverage when someone's trying to unsubscribe. It works on 30,000 events. As I mentioned, we have a lot of inventory to sell that's both consigned and founded through multiple marketplaces that we work with. We fulfill on the customer service side and the fulfillment side, so it's seamless for a brand we work with. We have a customizable redemption platform. We'll show you here in a second. And also we have our own inventory management system that can be integrated with multiple third parties. So we can actually integrate theme parks to tours and attractions, and then later on with travel. We also have, with that platform, the ability to give data back of things what people are searching for. So we actually can give information about consumers who are coming on the platform for the brands we work with. All of this is already launched. All of this is currently already working. This is what our platform currently looks like, in which we'll be adding even more. If you see here real quick, we have deals on top of deals. So our negotiated rates, we might give someone 35% off on a show, and then you can still take $25 off with your codes. How do we make money? Well, number one, we have subscriptions basis. We typically doing a flat fee for a certain size of database, or we're working with someone giving us 3 cents per member per month for someone who has 100,000 members or less. It's an annual contract. We are getting these signed starting here in 2025. We also do just a traditional model for selling of tickets, in which we make up towards to 40% margin on those tickets. Typically, that's something that we do with a newspaper who's looking to engage their audience with different deals in the market. We have an incentive card. This incentive card is a $25 code that can be redeemed for anything on the site that we sell for $5 or less, depending on volume. This is actually an area that we're starting to get really, really strong retention on for our own business. We just got feedback from a holiday promotion in which someone was offering an Amazon card, I believe a $10 Amazon card or a $25 ticket reward card, and they selected us 67% of the time. So we beat Amazon. Loved hearing that yesterday. We're also starting getting people advertising on our platform. We're cross-pollinating with packaging. So we have Darden Restaurants who recently bought a spot to be our exclusive provider of gift cards for packaging with live events. Our revenues, we're growing incredibly fast, but we also need to get our pipeline of more companies in the door. So we're actually raising to get our sales and marketing functions fully on board, because we currently, our staff is only 7, and we do have to procure most of the inventory we have and then fulfill it. 2025 is going to be a huge year of growth, of bringing on new clients, as well as a lot of testing, and then obviously bringing on new employees. We are going to be quickly into a very strong EBITDA by 2027. Here's our leadership team. It's very strong with diverse different backgrounds, with myself being more on a creative basis of selling of tickets or just general retail products. Cole Dunlop is our co-founder as well, who has actually started and exited within companies. Paul Bosch is also a huge industry expert in the ticketing space, working with the founding companies, partners for Broadway.com, and also helped with EBG, which is a company we potentially could be selling to, and scaling that business to $1 billion business. Kristen as well is a key member of our staff who's basically putting this all together behind the scenes for us. So appreciate everything she does for us. Our expertise is in live entertainment, but it's basically the know-how that most companies don't know how to do. United Airlines Mileage Plus was surprised to find us in the way that we're able to get them inventory way before it's on sale and get it to their members. And that's what we do really well. We put these strategic partnerships together because we know this business. Our technical development and product innovation is actually, there isn't any company does the kind of business we do with the kind of platform that we have. And we're basically customer centric in our design. We make it so it's very easy for people to say yes. Our staff has also done a number of different startups and actually a number of different exits as well. Our investment opportunity is a $2 million round. We've already got $320K committed with a $10 million cap on a safe note. Are mostly what we're going to be spending this on is sales and marketing, going to shows, going to events where we can get additional new leads. It's interesting, we work within the nonprofit space to Fortune 500 companies, the gift card space to retail products, to subscription businesses. The other thing we'll be doing this year is also adding new products like tours, attractions, theme parks, and then eventually travel, which is obviously an even bigger subset of this area. Our exit strategy is going to be acquisition. While we've been doing this raise, one of our strategic partners has actually given us a term sheet potential to acquire us. It's actually higher than what we're looking for on the cap, $10 million cap currently. We also got great feedback from one of our clients who purchases with us already, and they basically said, once you scale, we would like to buy you. Also, there's large companies as an entertainment benefits group, AEG, which is a competitor to the Live Nation, and Blackhawk. If you ever go buy a gift card or Income, you're buying them through a facilitator, which is Blackhawk, and Income, which are multi-billion-dollar companies. On here, 10 Capital did a great job of just highlighting some other companies in this space that have already evaluations that are multiples of 6 to 8, which in the ticketing space, it can actually be quite larger if we're doing in our SaaS business. And that's my 10-minute pitch. So one other thing I do want to show you, just so you can actually see, is this is what our emails look like when people are sending something out. San Francisco Chronicle trusts us to actually write their content for us. HBO Max, this is when they were giving $25 every month to their subscribers. We have worked with Oprah as well. And this worked for Hearst in trying to get people to sign up for Oprah Daily Insider.
Great. Great job, Jason. Thanks so much. Vadim, what's your first question?
Where are you based?
Austin, Texas.
Austin, Texas. So all of you, the vast majority of your clients is a remote sales.
Every single one of them are, yes. So we are very, very good into getting into big companies and finding the right person to talk to look at our programs. We are most of our team is distributed though. So we have people in New York, South Carolina, Austin, Texas, Chicago. I actually am sitting in the UK right now because my wife got a great opportunity for a job.
Nola, what's your first question?
Ticket rewards. You're a reseller of tickets, or do you originate the tickets?
So we do both. We are actually work directly with the venue, so it'd be a first-time sale of a ticket versus it being bought and then resold. We're basically finding alternative channels, and that's why they give us sometimes 50% off their tickets so they could sell it earlier. And these shows are, I'll just give you an idea. In San Francisco, we moved 2,500 tickets for Hamilton over the holidays, over the last 4 weeks of the year. And we got those 6 months prior, and it was then brands were able to leverage that opportunity to get these tickets for a good value. And then later on in the process, that show was sold out. And so we were the only one to really have that inventory.
I remember I went to that show and I thought the ticketing was weird.
Well, the one thing about our space is that most people don't know how to get a ticket, which is a big opportunity. And whenever you see an opportunity where distribution models are sort of not defined, the consumer doesn't know where to get it, and we push something in front of somebody, they say, thank you for sending this. I might not go, but they say, thank you for letting me know. I mean, it's pretty incredible, the open rates of our emails. HBO Max, which has incredible content that we all love to watch and stream. We actually had higher open rates with our product than their own because of the stuff that people were looking to do.
And how do you find the events yourselves? What's your origination?
So we're deeply rooted. My company, the company I used to work for was Travel Zoo, if you're familiar with that company. I started their live entertainment space from scratch. So I became your Uber connected company and live person in live entertainment. We've hired other people who are also just as connected. And so because we're offering basically free marketing to these venues, these shows, these sports teams, they'll give us inventory at a net rate or a rate that's very affordable that we can package up and make a margin on. Or basically put it into a platform that when you redeem $25, it looks like you're getting an amazing deal when we're still also making money on it as well.
Very clever.
And it's
So,
fun. It's a fun industry to be in. So,
because you get to go to all the events if you want to.
used to, yes. I got 2 kids now, so.
Okay, so you stay home and stream. And what is I mean, I've seen this come through to me from my Vistana ownership. And yet so that's like the Westin Marriott conglomeration of vacation homes.
Uh-huh.
And they're now selling events like this. Is that through you?
We've actually talked to them before. We are in negotiations with them potentially to do more for what they have. So our ideology for it is that if you can take care of somebody at home as much as you can when they're traveling, you'll have a lifetime customer. So we are breaking into the hotel vacation area. We work with vacation village resorts. Whenever they send out an email, it's the most open email that they have, both for things to do where their properties are, as well as things to do at home.
Okay,
We need more people out there knocking on doors is what we need.
okay, so that's what you're raising the money for?
Yes, because it's actually, once we get somebody engaged, it's a high likelihood that they're probably going to be a partner of ours. The one thing is it's a larger sales cycle for these enterprise brands. So as an example, we've been talking to Lyft for about 6 months right now, and they're looking to launch in about 4.
We have a few questions from the audience. What's the customer acquisition cost?
Our time right now. So for us, it's basically finding the right person in the door. So it's the cost of actually hiring somebody to go out and get it. We do have 3 other outside sales reps, and it's cost us about 20% of whatever they bring in.
What's your standard contract size?
Standard contract size is a good question. So we can do anything. So the standard contract for us is between 25,000, and then we have about 4 deals right now that are in the 7 figures that we're waiting on. On the distribution side, we're basically making off each distribution partner, say San Francisco Chronicle or Houston Chronicle. We're making about $100,000 per newspaper we're working with.
And what's the time to receive value on average? From the time they start the product till they really get value, how long is that?
Almost immediate. The first test we did, first email we did with Max showed them that they have high open rates, they have high engagement rates. The people like the product. The tests we did with Hearst, in which they actually took every person in and looked for if these people were going to unsubscribe or stay as a subscriber. Within 2 months, they could tell that these are people who are not active in their database at all.
What's your profit margins?
Currently, are about 36% is our margin. In the SaaS model, it's about 80%. So that's where we're putting a lot of time and effort into.
And how do you incentivize the ticket provider?
The ticket provider, well, we're getting them an audience that they can't reach. So it's a very easy conversation. So AEG, a big partner, came to us for AR Rahman because they saw what Andre Bocelli is doing with us, and then Hans Zimmer, and then we're going to get Ed Sheeran shortly because they can't get into these audiences, and we do it for free for them.
Right. If you lose connections because of competition, what happens?
If we lose
Connections.
inventory? Connections. Oh, so interesting enough, the platform still works because we work in the marketplace of secondary market, which gives about $10 billion worth of inventory at any given time. So inventory will always be available.
Are your current customers paying full price now? If not, when will they convert?
Some are paying full price right now, and I mean we have people paying $5 for $25 codes. We've done a number of tests. We believe, most people are coming in at about 75% of what we pitch them in the beginning. So it's a good rate that we're getting for it. So
Final question of the session: are all employees only receiving equity as compensation?
are all employees receiving equity? No, they're getting paid currently.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we're at the end of our time. Jason, great presentation. Noah, Vadim, great questions. We need to move on to our last segment here, which is going to be Term Sheets 101. So let me put my slides up here right quick and walk through this in short order. And then we're going to move over to breakout rooms. And appreciate everybody voting on the last session that we had there. Let me move this here. Let's see. There it is. Okay. So those in the audience that are investors, many people are new at this, and so they're looking at term sheets, wondering what some of these terms mean. And so just wanted to walk through some of the key term sheets that people ask me about from time to time. If you have any questions, put it in that chat box. But some of the key terms that we often come up with that we want to talk about are things like if you understand some of the financial parameters to look for in a term sheet, it will help you. What type of security is this? A safe note, convertible note, price round? How much is the investment amount that they're asking for overall? And then also, what is pre-money valuation? For those who are unfamiliar with startups, we use the pre-money world rather than share price. And just to give you the equation of ownership, pre-money plus investment equals post-money. Investor will get the investment divided by post money as a percent ownership stake. Sometimes you do see price per share in price rounds, and you want to look at safe notes and convertible notes as to what are the conversion triggers for those. Make sure there are conversion triggers in the term sheet is what I found. And then sometimes there are dividends as well. So some of the key things to look for there to help you. Term sheets are either slanted toward the founder or they're slanted toward the investor, and we sometimes try hard to balance it between the two. But if you look at a term sheet, these are some symbols that tell you that you're looking at a founder-friendly term sheet. There is no expiration date on the investment offer. The option pool comes out of both the investor's portion as well as the founder's portion. Typically in the Series A, you set aside 15% of the shares to pay the employees. Well, it goes up to 20 if you go to later stage. And so somebody has to pay for that. Who is paying for that? There is no confidentiality agreement. The founders are free to talk to anyone about the deal. There is no liquidation preference for the investors. That means it's a very friendly founder sheet. And finally, the startup does not pay the investor legal fees. If you were to invert all of this, you would have an investor-friendly term sheet. So next time you look at a term sheet, you might want to think about which of these things are at play in the one that you're looking at. When you're going into a term sheet, I always say it's not a formula, it's a negotiation. Always think about this because valuation, while there may be metrics and there be standards for how you calculate valuation, ultimately it is a negotiation between the two. Liquidation preferences are also negotiated. Sometimes they're in, sometimes they're not. If the investor doesn't believe the company is at the valuation that is being asked, well, a liquidation preference can sometimes balance things out. Investor or founder share rights can also be balanced out as well, and you can also include redemption rights. We'll talk about that more here in a moment. One of the most common tools out there is the convertible note. Basically, it's a debt instrument that converts to equity later. And it's valuable because it's a rolling close. You take the note out, go talk to investors as a startup, and they sign the check, you sign the note, the money goes into the business the next day. You can actually stack up several notes, one on top of the other. If you stack up too much, you will be undergoing greater dilution than you think. So you have to be careful about that. And so you also have to look that you don't raise too much money on convertible debt, as if when you get to Series A, there will be venture capital and institutional investors that will expect a certain amount of the deal in order to come in. If you've given out too much already with convertible notes, it may be hard to bring them in. Also, it's very good for seed rounds and bridge rounds. You don't necessarily need a lead investor to go into it. It avoids setting the price in the very early stages. It's very hard to find a lead investor because there's just not enough information to make a decision about this. And it can keep the cap table simple. When the note matures, it will convert, or if there's a follow-on qualified pricing round, it will convert at that point as well. One thing about convertible notes is that they typically don't have any protective provisions, very little about, there's sometimes they have information rights, but not anything with boards or the other things that you may want to go in there. The Angel Capital Association came out with a model convertible note term sheet this past year that put many of those investor rights back into it. I recommend you look at that. The valuation is not fixed. What you have instead is a valuation cap. That means that the valuation will not be higher than that number. And if it converts it without a qualified pricing round, it will convert at the valuation cap. The other disadvantage of a convertible note is that you don't get any qualified small business stock tax benefits, 1202, 1245, and the like, because you must be in a equity deal for 5 years before QSBS comes into play. But it is a great way to start off an investment round when you don't have anything else. I brought up the convertible note because we have a new convertible note ourselves. We call the 3X and 3. It basically gives the investor at their sole discretion a redemption right at year 3. At year 3, I found in most deals it's very clear which way this deal is going. We're continuing up the equity track, or we're now going sideways. If we're going sideways and it doesn't look like the rocket you thought it was going to be, investors can redeem their investment for 3x the amount. You put 50K in, you get 150K out, and it moves to a revenue share agreement to give you a path out of the deal. For those who are interested, we're rebuilding our 3X and 3 group. We've had this in the past and have had several deals. We have more companies coming to our program now that are very interested in 3X and 3. So if you're interested in that, give me a call. Let me know, and I'll be glad to add you to the list. There's no cost to join. You just get to review deals that are interested in that. In most of these deals, they take 250, 500K, but no more. We have to limit how much they can take, so there's limited amount of space. But if you're interested in that, we have a lot of startup interest in 3X and 3. Many of them want to actually have you take your shares out, convert out of the deal because they want to go. They want the equity back for themselves. So with that, let's go ahead and we're going to close out our session now, the formal session, and we're going to move into breakout rooms. We're going to put breakout rooms up on the screen here. Kat will take us into it. If you want to talk to me, I'll be in a breakout room and be glad to talk to you about 3X and 3 or as joining the 10 Capital program. And our other founders will be in their room. Welcome you to go join and talk to them as well. So with that, I think we got the breakout rooms here on the screen. You guys can just click on that button and click join for the one you want to go to, and we'll see you there. That wraps up our program today. We want to thank you guys for joining us. We'll send out the recording and the details from this event afterwards, and we'll be back next month with another investor education session. Thank you so much, Vadim and Nola, for great questions today. Appreciate your joining us. Looking forward to joining you in your sessions in the future. With that, we're going ahead and close it out and join the breakout room. Thanks so much.